all right, you know what? My alarm went off. I'm going to call this dude, and then I'm going to call this person, and I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again. My name is Star First Class Christopher LaBeause. I'm a United States Army infantryman and the co-founder of the Storytime Project. The Storytime Project is a nonprofit organization to actively prevent veteran suicide. Story was the last name of the person that really sparked everything for me after he took his life. It was truly the number one person that I thought would never commit suicide. It seemed that he was so happy. It was the true definition when you see people and they have that underlying issue that you don't really see. The Storytime Project, it started with the simple ideology of maintaining contact. We all get busy within our lives and we slowly lose contact with the veterans that we've gone through traumatic experiences with, and we often feel isolated. So it started with the simple ideology of setting your alarm on your phone on to 1800, 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. on the 22nd of each month. And it is where you stop what you're doing when that alarm goes off and you scroll to the bottom of your contact list, somebody you haven't talked to, somebody that might have gotten out of the Army, might still be in, and you just reach out to them. And it's just a simple, hey man, how's it going? Talking it out with friends, especially that have been through that experience, is a medication you don't have to refill at Walgreens. All insurances take it. Just being able to have an outlet to talk to people, it relieves so much stress, so much weight off your chest. That's the most healing aspect of it.
We're social creatures, but yet we disconnect ourselves so easily. It's crazy, because the worst thing they can do to you in a prison is segregate you from everybody else. It's historically, it's drove men insane, but we do it to ourselves. And we kind of almost, to replace that, we project almost like a fantasy on social media, like, oh, everything's amazing here, everything's so well, everything's so good, and that's a big factor of the spikes in suicide.
Everyone wonders what their purpose in life is. And to me, story time is my purpose. I was supposed to start this project and I was supposed to share my experiences with younger soldiers and service members and just everybody in general, so they can see that if I can do it, then they can do it. The darkest nights always bring the brightest days. Good things can come from bad. They always do. 5 years ago, I was an alcoholic. I was divorced. I never thought I was going to see my kids again. And I attempted suicide. And I never thought I was going to be a sergeant first class running a nonprofit organization to prevent veteran suicide, seeing my kids whenever I wanted to, being remarried and having a 9-month-old daughter. So absolutely, the worst always brings out the best and always lays the groundwork for the best, because it shows you what you can go through and still be on your feet. It's like walking up a mountain, walking up Everest. It might be the hardest thing you ever do in your life, but when you get to that top, that view and the fulfillment from that view it doesn't compare to the struggles you went to get to the top. So finding that purpose out of the pain is absolutely the best way to describe this. If I can show that, hey, I had an issue, I have a CIB and I have all this stuff on all these schools, but it affects, the same thing that affects me affects somebody else. And like when I was actually on my way to the mental hospital to get help, I told my boss, I'm like, yo, tell my soldiers, because I just won Best Warrior competition and I was one of the top rated weapons squad leaders. These kids looked up to me. And I told my boss, I'm like, yo, do not tell them where I'm going because I thought it was going to like tarnish my name and they were going to think I'm weak. And it was an hour drive to the medical facility. And when I got there, I was dwelling on this the whole time for some reason. And I looked at my boss and I'm like, you know what? Tell them exactly where I'm at. Because that's our job as leaders, is to set the example. Tell them where I'm at. Tell them I got help. And if this soldier can see that, hey, big Sergeant First Class LaBeause, 3-4 deployments, can go get help, then I should be able to get help. And absolutely, man, you can get help.
It's okay not to be okay sometimes. You hear all the time, oh, suck it up, drive on. But they're talking about physically suck it up. You know what I mean? Oh, my feet hurt from rucking. Hey, suck it up, drive on. They're not talking about emotional stressors or emotional, pain. And when I realized that, it's like, okay, I don't have to project this Viking lifestyle or this, body stacker mentality. I don't have to project that all the time. I don't even have to project it, period. Because I'll let my work talk for itself. And there's a reason why Vikings aren't here. You can't sustain that lifestyle. And that was the two biggest things that helped me. Once I realized that there's some days where you can just not be okay and you just need to talk and it doesn't show weakness. Once I realized those two things, it was just like, all right, I can do this. I am a firm believer that God never puts more on our plate than what we can handle. Sometimes it really feels like it's a lot more than we can deal with, but it's when he puts those stressors or that obstacle on your plate for you to overcome, it's just a test. That's all it is. And any obstacle, how I like to think of it is, how do you eat a whale? And it's one bite at a time, one step at a time. And there's always a method to the madness, what's going on. You just might not see it now, but down the road, you're going to look back and you'll be like, man, that's why it helped me. I turned myself into like a lighthouse for people. Once you think about it, like they can see that I overcame it and that I got the help, and I'm not a weak man. Come and call me weak man. I'll take you to the gym any day of the week, or I'll take you out on a hunt and we'll see. But they can see now the light that I put off and help people. And also it almost gives them something to navigate off of through the waters that they're going through. And they'll see me and they're like, all right, he got help and he got back on the horse and he got back to his job. I can do that.
Be proactive against veteran suicide. Prevent it. I challenge you just to make that call and stay connected. Just stick out that olive branch to somebody. It could be a Facebook message, a snap, whatever, social media message, or even a phone call or a text. Simply just picking up that phone and making that phone call to someone that you haven't talked to in a while and reestablishing that connection and saying, hey, how's it going? That very well could be the difference between life and death. We all have problems. We all have stressors and issues. And at the end of the day, suicide is not the answer. It doesn't matter if you're been in the Army 20 years or if you've been a civilian for your whole life. Because at the end of the day, suicide affects us all. And it's a problem that we cannot tolerate any longer.